What is going on, everybody? It is your boy Nathan Skills, and today we're going to be talking about how to get more wins in Blackout. A lot of you have been asking me for tips and tricks, and you guys see that I just get wins after wins after wins when I do play the game, and I really don't even play as much as I used to, and that's the fact due to the holidays, a lot of things going on in my real world versus the online gaming world. But in this video, what we're going to do is we are going to be showing you guys how to become a better Blackout player and get more wins in Blackout, because that's what everybody wants to do, right? Win in Blackout. So hopefully with these tips, tricks, and settings I tell you in this video, it will help you out. So the first thing we want to deal with is your settings. So we're going to talk about that first, and then we'll break down some gameplay. So remember, I do play on PlayStation. Now these settings should work on Xbox. If you work on PC, then I would recommend asking somebody how they have their settings for PC. But the first two things you guys really want to mess with is your look sensitivity horizontal and your look sensitivity vertical. I have mine on high 8.8, and when I play multiplayer, it's usually on 10.10. Now I do go down 2 when I go into Blackout. I really recommend you guys messing with these settings to get the best settings possible for you. Now for button layout, I do run tactical because I like having my crouch prone on the right thumbstick and then my melee attack on circle, because remember, if you're using a melee weapon, you use the fire button anyway, so it doesn't really affect you too much. The only other thing I would recommend you guys changing is the controller vibration. Either have this on or off depending on how you feel your aim is. If your aim is really bad, turn off controller vibration and it should help out a little bit. The next thing we're going to get into is Blackout specific settings. I really recommend for item pickup you put press. This helps out. It prioritizes picking up any nearby items over reloading. So you just have to tap square versus holding square to pick up items. And I really feel like this improves how fast you can get the weapons in your hands, get the items in your hands, and keep on moving. The next thing I want to talk to you guys about is ladder mounting orientation. I would really recommend you guys putting this forward. So this means like when you run up to a ladder, if you're running at it forward, it would automatically launch you onto the ladder and let you slide down. I'm going to show you a quick clip of how it worked in game. So right now you can see I was right in front of a ladder and I ran right towards it. So that is a big difference. Instead of having to turn around to get on the ladder, you just have to run towards it. And having this option of forward means that I don't have to turn around to mount the ladder. I just have to walk towards it or run towards it, and I will automatically lock onto the ladder. So the two big ones you want to change is item pickup and ladder mounting. Now remember, this is personal preference, but this is what works for me and it might work for you guys. Now the next thing I want to get into is audio. A lot of you guys asked for my audio settings. I use the Astro A10s, and the audio preset I run with is the Treyarch Mix. You can also change this to 4 different other ones, and that's up to you. I personally like the Treyarch Mix, and it works great for me. Before we get into the gameplay, I did want to show you one quick tip. If you guys are just trying to switch all your attachments to a new gun you found, you can go over that gun, hold square, and it's going to make it a lot easier for you to drop all those attachments and pick them up, so that way you can get right back into the battle. You saw in this clip right here, I was able to pick up all my attachments and then get going. The biggest mistake most people do is they don't get familiar with their favorite drop zone. Now remember, this map is composed of a lot of small maps from Blackout, so pick an area that you're familiar with or learn that area. So if you like dropping in firing range, try to find all the good locations for all the weapons. If you like dropping in train station, find the location for all the boxes. If you like dropping in asylum, if you like dropping anywhere else in the map, just make sure you guys drop there a couple times. Learn where stuff likes to spawn, learn where people like to hide, and that way you can make it out of the first hardest part of Blackout is surviving the first couple minutes of any game. Just like you guys saw right here, I had a guy land right next to me, and I think he's right behind me. So that is something you guys have to pay attention to, man. You have to pay attention to your surroundings, and the first 5 minutes I want to say are the hardest in all of Blackout. Once you get out of those first 5 minutes, that's when you don't really see a lot of people, and you're gonna see this one's really intense because I'm playing solo squads, and I felt like using this gameplay is actually a little bit more beneficial to you, so you guys can see with good technique, with good strategy, you guys can win these solo squads, solo duels, solo games, and you guys can win more. So that's why I always tell you guys, if you guys know where you're dropping in, like I know Nuketown, like I can drop in Nuketown, I can go to different locations and I can find weapons. That's why it's key to drop into one location a lot, like drop into it a few times, so that way you know where weapons are, where you need to go to find different loot, and you won't be struggling to get weapons really quick. So I was able to get a gun right at the very beginning, and that saved me, right? I was able to drop 3 guys right off the bat. Perks like Looter will help you find better equipment items, better weapons, and I always recommend using all of your perks as soon as you get them. And I say that because a lot of times you don't know when you're gonna die, right? So if you don't use them, you never really take advantage of them. The next thing I've noticed is when I happen to be outside of the circle and moving towards the circle, like later in the game, I always tend to do a little bit better. And that's because a lot of times you don't have people sneaking up on you, and a lot of times you can sneak up on them, or you guys run into each other at the same time. You're gonna see right here, in just a second, there's a guy right in front of me. He was literally right inside the circle waiting for me to come, and I was able to make the move on him. And that's the big difference that I've noticed when I'm sitting inside the circle versus when I'm pushing to the circle late. I feel that when I push the circle a little bit late, I have a better chance of catching the enemy off guard versus them catching me off guard. And that's the big difference. Just like right here, you see another player sitting on the edge of the circle, and that's what I'm talking about. When you're coming late, you can catch these players who are just camping in the back, and you can play more aggressive at that moment if you're an aggressive player like I am. If you're not, then you can just camp a little bit like they're doing. Another thing I don't see a lot of people use of or take advantage of enough are your cluster grenades, your regular grenades, your Molotovs, or even your concussions. All of those grenades can make the difference between you guys winning gunfights and you guys losing gunfights. And that's what I tell you guys. Be smart how you guys play. Use your concussions, use your cluster grenades, use your regular grenades, and then just be aware of your surroundings. And the timer on the left, you'll see where it's counting down 31 seconds. That means the storm is about to drop. I have two players in front of me, so I need to drop these two guys, and then I can make my move, right? I can finally push towards the center of the circle and get away from this, but I have to be really careful because I am playing solo squad, so I know there's other players, and that's what I have to be worried about. Getting shot in the back, right? Because there's other players, just have to be very careful. But I'm still playing to my advantage, right? Like I told you guys, I'm pushing really late. The timer's about to hit 0 seconds, and then I know, you know what, I might need to start pushing now. But first I'm going to take advantage of this bag. I used a lot of ammo, so make sure you guys are looting bags too, but be a little careful on when you loot, because you don't want to loot and get shot. Like there's a guy waiting for me to pop my head out. He was shooting at me. Now those two guys went down and they weren't killed right away, so I know their teammate has to be really close. And that's what I tell you, just be careful when you loot and when you don't want to loot. You don't want to loot a bag that's out in the open and then get sniped, and then all the hard work you did goes to waste, right? Another mistake I see a lot of people using are your bandages over your regular med kits. So once you start getting to the final circle, you want to have your med kits ready, and you want to have those on hand, because remember, those give you 50 health versus 30 health. Now, one thing I wasn't able to do was loot a lot of med kits, so I am actually using the bandages, but I wouldn't recommend that. Once you get into this final circle, you're gonna see I'm creeping in. We're near the final circle. I'm pushing in slowly. This is how I would recommend you guys go in there, especially if you're playing by yourself against a squad. Now, if you're playing a little bit more aggressive, you can run in there. If you have dead silence, you don't have to worry about crouching. Those are some key perks that you can have later in the game if you can save them. But like I always tell you guys, use your perks as soon as you get them, because it's better to use them than to not use them. Now, remember, always look at your surroundings behind you. A lot of people like pushing the circle really late, like I'm pushing it late, and you can catch guys like that who are camping and get some pretty easy kills. So I'm at 7 kills right now, and there's 7 guys left. We're gonna get back to the gameplay in just a second, but I did want to show you something. I didn't have any repair armor on the last video, but on this one I want to show you. All you have to hit is up on your D-pad and then hold square, and it will automatically repair your armor if you have those repair armor plates. Now that is something they added new to Blackout recently. A lot of people don't like that, but they did nerf it a little bit. It was at 10 that you could carry. Now you can carry a maximum of 5. Each armor plate heals your armor just like if it was healing your health. So that is something pretty cool, but a lot of people don't like it. So if I had armor plates right here, I would be making sure that my armor was at max health, and that way I could get into the next gun battle knowing I have a full set of armor. So always take advantage of looting bags, especially if other players have those armor plates. Now, once you're in the final circle, pay attention to your sound. Your sound is key, especially if someone has level 3 armor. You can hear them really quick. And I heard that guy coming from the right, and I knew right away he was coming. I'm going to loot him for his med kits, and then I'm going to push, because he just went down. So I know he has a teammate, which there's this teammate. He's looking for me. He's trying to run me over, it looks like, and he has level 3 armor, so I have to be very careful. It really looks like he's trying to run me over, so maybe he's going for the mission to unlock character. But what he's doing is what I wouldn't recommend you guys doing near the end of any game. Is if you haven't ran someone over already for a mission to unlock, don't be trying to do it at the end of a game, especially with an ATV. Any vehicles make a lot of noise. You can hear them all over the map. So now I have to be really careful because the players know where I'm at because I just killed the guy on the ATV. So they know for sure I'm on this side of the map. Now I don't even know if there's one team or two teams, and a guy just got killed. So now it's a 1v1. This is where I tend to excel. This is where I like the adrenaline rush you get here. A lot of people hate this 1v1. They get really nervous. But for me, this is what I like. I like this 1v1 battle, seeing who's better, seeing who can see who first. And at this moment, he's probably in the circle, right? Because I heard the snipe come from all the way over here. I need to push a little bit because I don't want to get caught way on the outside of the circle. So I'm going to make my move right now before he knows the circle's closing in. Because that's the best thing I can do, right? If I wait till the circle's closing in, then he knows to look at the circle because I waited so long. But since I pushed so soon, now I can be a little bit more aggressive. I know the snipe came from over here somewhere. So I'm playing really aggressive right now. I'm pushing towards the circle. I'm almost on the circle. And I feel confident now, right? Because I'm on the edge of the white circle, so I don't have to move. I know he's not behind me because the snipe came from over here somewhere. So it's really, if I can see him before he sees me, if I can snipe him before he snipes me, if I can stay alive, because he could snipe me and I could be dead. Like, he just hit me right there. I was almost dead. So luckily, I have these medkits. That's why I say use these medkits. 50 health each time you pop them. I don't have a lot of them, right? Because I wasn't able to loot like I told you. That's why I recommend, if you guys can loot these medkits, 50 health each one. And I'm trying to be conservative, so I switch back to the bandages. I'm gonna see if this guy has anything. He has a trauma kit. I always recommend, if you guys can get these trauma kits, pop them when you're at 150 health, because that's an extra 50 health they have to hit you for. So since I had no idea where this guy was at, I played to my advantage. I stayed behind these rocks. I waited. The circle closed in again. He made a move, hit him with a concussion. I threw a grenade, and that's how I end up winning the game. So sometimes, guys, play to your advantage. He had the advantage on me if I would have kept trying to snipe him because I had no idea where he was at. I waited till the circle closed in a little bit. I started moving towards that smaller circle. He made a move. I made the right moves with the concussion grenades, the equipments, and that's how you guys take advantage of your ability and your movement. So make sure, always play to your play style. If you're not a good sniper, don't try to have a snipe battle. If you're not a good running gunner, try to camp a little bit more. Play to your play style and you'll start to win a lot more, guys. And remember, sometimes it's skills and sometimes it's a little bit of luck. I wish you guys the best. If you guys still have any questions, use the comment section down below. If you found this video useful, hit the thumbs up. If you're new to my channel, first time watching a video, hit the subscribe button, turn notification bell out so when I release a video, you guys get notified. As always, if you don't see me in Blackout, it's only a matter of time. Nothing but skills is out.